Yes, it. Yeah, I'll start it again. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So therefore, even the selection system today is there, but we have people who can't speak English and can't speak Hindi who are joining the school now.
Okay, okay.
Meanwhile, you've got teaching staff
Mm.
who are selected by the UPSC because it's the government institution, paid for by Ministry of Defense.
Right.
So the UPSC, because of the rules of the government that more vacancies have to be given to backward castes
Okay.
and scheduled castes,
Mm.
they are selecting many teachers from that group to
Okay.
send to the school. Now, we do face some problems here, which the old boys have brought to notice the government, but it has had no effect. Perhaps rightly so, because the government has made a policy, so we have to follow it. What happens is that we got a teacher, for instance, who's a PhD in English
Mm.
from Bihar University.
Mm.
He didn't know how to speak English.
Mm.
He knew how to write it, but he didn't know how to speak it. So now, if he has to train to some of the students who come from a non-Hindi, non-English background and don't know the language, then how does he teach the English?
Right.
So we put that case up. It took us a whole year. The procedure here is that the commandant of the school has to write a report on the man that I've given him a year's training and he has not picked up. And so with the result, I can't accept him in the school. And then the UPSC objects to this because they have selected him. And the government objects because he's backward caste, right? And then he, since he's a PhD, goes to court against the commandant, then against the army, to say that when I'm a PhD in English, how do you say I don't speak English? It's interesting. It will, I'm sure, rectify over a period of time, but there is a period of time that is required to
Right.
bring people up to the standard that is necessary for a degree.
Right.
Secondly, many of our universities are giving degrees which are false,
Mm.
which are
Yes.
given by little money on the table or something.
Yes.
This is corruption in the education of our country. Now, all right, it's all right giving a person a job, but if you look at it, when you're training your youth for the future of this country, my view at least is, you have to be very careful because these are the people who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.
Right.
If they're not given good education, then they will not be good leaders tomorrow, especially in the military. Now, I must say one more thing about the military. This is an armed group.
Right.
Every soldier has a weapon.
Yes.
He's a trained killer.
Mm.
His job in life is to kill the enemy and nobody else. You always punish in law a person who commits murder. But if the military kills the enemy, that is not murder, that is defense of the country.
Right.
And that's what his job is, and he's paid for it.
Right.
It's not the police. The police has to manage law and order. I'm very happy they are there.
Right.
Otherwise, in the old days, the military had to do that job.
Right.
It is saved from that because my view is that no military can function well unless it has the love and affection of the people of the country.
Mm.
That love and affection can only come when they see that you're ready to sacrifice your life. The corollary to this is that if you want to make a nation, India was just, I would call it a colony of the British Empire. And before that, the Mughal Empire, right? For 1,000 years, you were slaves, bandi, right? So, if you want to make a nation, you have to give your blood. Those who are designed have to protect this nation by shedding blood.
Right.
Now you notice in European countries why they are so firm in their law and in their discipline and their conduct in science and technology is because they have given their blood to survive over centuries. Their governments, whether they are prime ministers or ministers, have all served in the military because their populations are small. And in their time, they have all served the military. So they know what it is to serve in war. And therefore, when they are politicians, they appreciate.
Right.
But in our case, you have politicians who have never served in conflict. If they see a bullet flight, they run in sheer fear. It's quite contemptuous, really. As we saw when the parliament attack took place. I think it's a big joke. So, if you can have a portion of the citizenry of this country which is able to bear with the horrors of conflict, and you have this portion of them highly disciplined and ready to serve and shed their blood, Naturally, they should be appreciated. But since it's a very large number, we've got a very large border, a land border,
Right.
which is what I think about 4,000 kilometers in the north and another
Yeah.
3,000 kilometers with Pakistan, and
Yes.
another so many kilometers with Bangladesh, and another so many kilometers with
Yes.
Burma. Then you've got to 7,500, 8,000 kilometer sea area where the peninsula interjects into the oceans. That all has to be defended. And the point is, if you don't do that, other people will come and run and control your country. Because there is conflict in the world.
Right.
In such time as the world becomes a safer place, you have to have this military. And naturally, it's your taxpayers' money which is being spent to maintain these people. So now there's military and there's diplomacy. We'll come to this, I've discussed this problem before. When there's a failure of diplomacy, then the military comes in.
Right.
Therefore, why should there be a failure of diplomacy? Because there's a failure of politics and diplomacy. If you take our relationship with Pakistan, you take our relationships with China, what is it that has caused these relations to be bad? You can say, yes, that they were doing terrorism, blah, blah, but it's not as if they're bad people, they're not bad people. I have many friends there. You will say the Chinese are on our border hanging down there, but they are not bad people. They're very good people. They are looking after their country, right? So it requires understanding and diplomacy. For instance, with the Chinese, it requires urgency to settle the land border because we say it's there, they say no, it's there, right? So whatever way it is, conflict can be avoided with proper politics and diplomacy.
Right.
This is the main theme. If you take what's happening between Russia and Ukraine today, what is wrong here?
Yeah.
They've got some diplomatic reasons to be aggressive, the Russians. They are feeling lack of security because NATO is putting its weapons closer and closer to their border,
Right.
including. So, isn't there an area of agreement that is feasible? Of course it is. Because even if you go to conflict, after the war is over, you still have to discuss it as to what is the peace.
Right.
You may as well do it before the war starts.
Hmm.
But there's greed. We say that in the military. What changes with civilization is new technology, new science, and new methods of survival which make your life more and more comfortable because of so many things helping you. This computer, for instance, we can talk across so many miles without meeting each other.
Right.
This is technology. Now, this is for the benefit of your life and other people's life and my life. And that's technology. The more it becomes highly capable, the more the character of the human being seems to be dropping. He wants to take advantage of this to get something that does not belong to him.
Right.
What is the fight between international countries? Somebody wants something that the other guy has got. So our saying is, human nature doesn't change. Whether it was 2,000 years ago or whether it is today. The nature of the human being is the same. The greed, the lust, the desire for power, to lord it over others, the arrogance of a leader.
Yes.
This does not change.
Yeah.
Therefore, all the religions, whether it's the Gita or the Vedanta or Quran or whether it's the Bible, is teaching you certain methods to try and control these things. Not that it happens. You read all this, you say, very good, it's a beautiful saying, but you don't follow it. Right?
Very well, General. That brings us to the end of today's session. I think we're just off 30 seconds. So thank you.
No,
Thank
next
you.
time-
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Next time we'll carry on.
Yes.
This 1946 is a very important year.
Yes. Yes.
I was 16 and I went back to Sherwood. I've seen both the schools.
Yes.
And it's important here. I'll talk more about it.
Sure. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.